Throughout the history of flight, every time any pilot has landed a vehicle of any kind, any place on the face of our planet, there are two factors he's always had to contend with. The atmosphere, which imposes aerodynamic forces, and Earth's gravitational attraction, which exerts a familiar downward pull. By contrast, when an Apollo astronaut lands a lunar module on the moon,
altitude 1600,
there is virtually no atmosphere, and hence no appreciable aerodynamic forces. There is but 1/6 the gravitational attraction of the Earth. Consequently, the lunar module takes on handling characteristics which differ greatly from those of any previous vehicle.
400 feet down at 9. Stay forward. 10 and 50 feet down at 4.
The astronaut could scarcely wait until he was 300 feet above the lunar surface to get familiar with the handling characteristics of his vehicle during the landing phase.
300 feet down.
Clear for landing simulation.
He had to learn before he ever left the Earth.
His altitude is 300, airspeed about 27.
3 minutes to JP4, 50%.
Thank you.
Airspeed 45.
Approaching 40% roll. Okay, crosswind. Descent rate's 10. Altitude's 200.
It was this requirement that brought about the development of the strange-looking flying machine called the Lunar Landing Training Vehicle.
Altitude's approaching 100.
1 minute to 50%.
Thank you. Descent rate's 4. Altitude's 100, descent rate's 4, airspeed's 5.
Touchdown.
To be worthy of its name, the Lunar Landing Training Vehicle, or LLTV, had to have virtually the same handling characteristics as the lunar module itself. When studies first began in the late 1950s and early 1960s, it was by no means certain that a pilot could even control such vehicles. They were so different that much of the basic engineering design data developed from the time of the Wright brothers' flight at Kitty Hawk in 1903 handling characteristics as the lunar module itself, until the experimental aircraft flights of our own era simply did not apply in the 1960s. Even in the case of vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. A special lunar landing research vehicle was built, then in 1903, had to have virtually the same handling characteristics until the experimental aircraft flights of our own era simply did not apply. When studies first began in the late 1950s and early 1960s, even in the case of vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, it was by no means certain. While the research vehicle was also used as an interim trainer, procedures had been developed. The vehicle designed explicitly for training, the LLTV, became available for initial test flights in late 1968 and for vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. Lunar landing training several months later. The LLTV is totally different from any conventional aircraft in the way it handles. The vehicle designed explicitly for training, the LLTV, became available for initial...
To layman's terms, we'll use a conventional helicopter that the pilot is used to flying in a 1G gravity field. Here, to get significant acceleration and deceleration rates, only small degrees of pitch attitude changes are necessary. For convenience, we'll say 3 degrees. 3 degrees pitch down in a helicopter will give you significant acceleration rates. Likewise, if you have a rate and want to stop, 3 degrees pitch up will stop it quite quickly. However, the pilot on the lunar surface is faced with a quite different task. Here his vehicle